For centuries, the story of global power has been a story of movement from east to west, from Europe to America, from the industrial age to the digital. And now, slowly but unmistakably, the world's gaze is turning south toward Africa. Africa is home to over 1.4 billion people. By 2050, 1 in 4 humans will be African. It is the youngest continent in the world, where the median age is not yet 20. It is vast, resource-rich, and full of potential. For decades, Africa has been described as the next frontier, but that phrase has become almost cliché, a promise that never fully materialized. Today, however, something feels different. Across the continent, quiet transformations are taking place. In Nairobi and Lagos, startups are redefining finance through mobile technology. In Addis Ababa and Kigali, infrastructure projects are connecting cities and markets. And in Accra, Cairo, Johannesburg, a new generation of entrepreneurs, engineers, and thinkers is emerging. Africa's economic future is not a simple story of hope or despair. It is a complex equation, one that balances opportunity with uncertainty, growth with fragility, potential with politics. The drivers of growth: Africa's greatest strength is its people. The demographic boom means a massive labor force, and potentially, a vast consumer market. If this population is educated, empowered, and employed, the continent could experience a demographic dividend similar to what transformed East Asia decades ago. The second driver is technology. Africa skipped the landline era and went straight to mobile. Today, mobile banking platforms like M-Pesa are not just financial tools, they are infrastructures of inclusion. In digital spaces, Africa is not catching up, it is innovating differently. The third driver is resources, not only minerals and oil, but also solar energy, agricultural land, and human creativity. As the world transitions to green energy, Africa's cobalt, lithium, and sunlight become vital. The obstacles ahead, and yet, potential is not destiny. For every story of growth, there is one of fragility. Infrastructure remains limited. Corruption, inequality, and conflict continue to disrupt stability. Many economies rely heavily on raw materials, making them vulnerable to global price swings. The debt crisis looms over several nations. Youth unemployment remains high, and climate change threatens agriculture and water supply. Foreign investment often comes with strings attached, whether from the West, China, or regional powers. The question, then, is not whether Africa can grow, but how it will grow and who will benefit when it does. The global context: Africa's rise will not happen in isolation. As the world fragments into competing blocs, the continent finds itself courted by many: the US, China, Europe, India, and the Gulf states, each offering partnership, investment, and influence. This creates both opportunity and pressure. Africa's future may depend less on choosing sides, and more on building systems strong enough to stand independently. Regional integration could be a turning point. The African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, if realized fully, would create one of the largest markets on Earth. But it demands coordination, infrastructure, and trust, 3 things easier spoken than achieved. The long view: economies rise not just on capital, but on institutions, education, and shared vision. Africa's story will depend on how well its nations invest in people, not just resources. It will depend on leadership that looks beyond election cycles, and on citizens who see development as a collective project. No continent is defined by its past alone. Africa's future will be written by its choices and by how the world chooses to engage with it. The next century may not belong to any single region. But it may well be incomplete without Africa. And perhaps that is the point, that history's true direction is not toward one center, but toward a world finally learning that its growth must be shared.